The path to consistency is doing things over and over and over again that are consistently resulting in yielding positive results. And the easiest way to build confidence in what you're doing is finding comfort and trust in knowing that enough is enough. Missing trades and the fear of missing opportunities. If you go through this process, and it's long and arduous and it's boring, it really is boring, but once you get to the pattern of repetition, you will find it's almost like meditation, backtesting, studying, logging, tape reading, demoing. You'll get really comfortable with what you're looking for as a pattern. And then when you do have a losing trade, when you have an opportunity that fails, that you didn't see come to your outcome that you were hoping for, the targets weren't reached, and the whole idea failed and collapsed. If that occurs, you don't have a fear of missing out on the next trade if you sit still, because you know that your trades generally are repeating a lot. They're frequent. But you're not going to have that pattern of a losing trader if you go through this process. Because if you don't go through this and this approach to doing it, what are you going to use as experience or a frame of reference? Your gut, your emotions, and what you see other people doing. And that's what young guys do. Young guys like to look at the other crowd out there, and whatever grass looks greener, that's where they're going to jump. If they're system hopping, mentor hopping, trying to do what everybody else is trying to do and changing their model because they saw somebody else doing something, or which PD array they're going to use because somebody else is out there just doing breakers, and I'm making a big to-do about fair value gaps now. They're like, oh, I can't do fair value gaps. Let me go over and do the breaker because I saw this guy, he made $10,000 in his funded account, and I saw the withdrawal through. That's my model. I saw that. No, you're being influenced. That stuff is social media garbage. It's toxic. It's not going to help you be a better trader. It's actually going to be an impediment. So unfortunately, that's the reason why a lot of folks come to us and they say, I'm a cult leader and this is a cult, because I'm trying to give you a mindset that's hive mentality. You have to subscribe to one viewpoint in the beginning. You have to. But you graduate and grow from that, and you find yourself in your own unique model in all the things I'm teaching. But if you're coming here and you want to apply a little bit of that and a little bit of this and somebody else's horse shit over here and what you read in the book and what you saw in a video over here, or this resembles this and I'm going to try to incorporate, you can't do those things and not be surprised at the results not being what you're hoping for. I have a full process here, and it's long, and it is very studious. And it requires a lot of rolled up sleeves and things that are going to take some time from you. And yes, time is a commodity that we don't have more of. When we were putting the tree together, I was dressing it with Caleb and Cameron. And Cameron was bitching about it because he wanted to go see his girlfriend. He's like, Dad, how much more do we have to put on this tree? And I was like, until they're all put on there. I can't reach up there, and I get dizzy when I get high up on a ladder. I get vertigo. It's 12.5 foot tree, so I had to have my son climb up on this extension ladder that I was so afraid it was going to tear up our wall. But Caleb says to Cameron, he says, instead of belly aching, why don't you just enjoy the time? Because look at that, he's 50 years old. He doesn't have much time left. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? I don't have much fucking time. I know I'm 50, but fuck's sake, I'm not a senior citizen. Jesus. Well, here's what we got here. You're going to have this influence of people around you, just like my own kids were influencing each other there, and it influenced me. Reminded me, I started thinking to myself, do I got one foot in the grave? For fuck's sake, like, what is this? Like, do they know something I don't know? Like, I don't move around like I did when I was 20, but man. But that same influence, that factor of influence on social media. I mean, think about it. When you click on Twitter, if you're listening to this, you're predominantly coming to Twitter to see what I'm either pointing reference to, or maybe I'm sharing a trade example or something. I'm making a post of some kind, and you're waiting for that next dopamine hit. Well, if you're finding yourself chasing that kind of shit on social media about who's hot right now, which system's better, I don't have a system. Okay, I don't have a system. I don't have a singular plan outside of what you have been shown on 2022. In my private mentorship, I made 12 extremely complex and complicated models. And I did that to weed out the assholes. And I knew they would be sharing it. I knew they'd be pushing it around. Those models make money, but they are so high end and high demanding, nobody is going to follow them because they are forcing people to do very specific things that they're not going to wait for. But every single one of them make money. And I'm just going to tip my hand and tell you that I have told them in private mentorship that they are to use the 2022 model and to simply replace the PD array that the fair value gap is, simply use the breaker or an order block or a mitigation block or an institutional order flow entry drill. Everything else is the same. That's it. It is not complicated. I complicated it because I knew I had rats in the house with me. Okay. And I smashed a lot of their heads, throwing their asses out. And now we're at the stage where only the real students that are interested in learning how to do it, they're in there, we're engaging on the forum, and there it is. But I will share that, and I divulge that openly so that way you know. When people are out there trying to say, I have ICT mentorship, and ICT's opening up his mentorship, or you see people out there pretending to be me saying, I'm opening up my mentorship. I'm not opening up my fucking mentorship. I'm not. I'm mentoring right now. I'm sitting here droning on and on, mentoring you right now, giving you gold. Like, I'm giving you the real shit, the real things. This is exactly how I talked to my one-on-ones in the 90s. When I sat with people one-on-one and trained them individually, this is exactly how I talk to them. I talk to them just like this. I use these same reference points. I've talked about this almost verbatim. The piece of paper I'm holding is the same discolored piece of paper from 1996. Yes, it looks like it's been, it looks like it's had better days. But hey, it's a long time ago, right? But you have to know that social media is toxic, and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and the social media equity curve that everyone's trying to be the person of interest right now. The path to consistency is doing things over and over and over again that are consistently resulting in yielding positive results. And the easiest way to build confidence in what you're doing is finding comfort and trust in knowing that enough is enough. 10 handles in the E-mini S&P. It's $500 per contract. So I don't know where you're from, but I don't mind if I got $500 a day. $500, it's pretty good. I average a little bit more than that per day in ad revenue on YouTube. It's nice. It's a nice little kitty of money. But something happens when you get in there and you push a button, and because if it starts taking off real quick, you start thinking, oh, it might go down to that other thing that's way down here. Because what happens if there's a 50 handle day? What happens if it isn't? And you didn't take your profit and it reverses. That's the perspective you're supposed to have. You got to get paid when it gives you the opportunity to get paid. That's why you're here. You're not here for trophies. You're not here for fucking clout. Okay, you're here to make money. That's it. You're not here for friends. You're not here for relationships. You're not here for any kind of attention. You're here to just find some money. That's it. And consistently find an approach that gives you the opportunity to bank that. And you have to do this in your demo account for months to get used to doing that. And over time, how much time? Could take years for some of you, and maybe less for others. But for a rule of thumb, an approach that can be, in my opinion, replicated by the majority of you, not every one of you. Some of you are just never going to be able to do this, and that's the reality of it. Doesn't mean I'm a failure. It doesn't mean I'm a fraud. It doesn't mean my concepts don't work. It just simply means that you can't do it. And there should be no shame in that. If you ever get to the point where you come to the conclusion that you can't, then okay, no problem. Don't torture yourself anymore. I've had relationships and friends with people that over the last 30 years, they're not here anymore. They ended themselves. Not because they traded my concepts and they failed, because they did their own thing and they lost. And they lost big and they ended themselves. And I also have friends that did very little in terms of damage to themselves monetarily, and they killed themselves for nothing. Nothing. 50 grand? Your whole life is 50 grand? Every one of my vehicles that are paid for, and I'm not leasing, by the way. The titles, there's no stamps or a lien against any of them. Vinny. The